The engine's igniting. Ramping up. And liftoff. A year in space starts now. Kelly, Kornienko, and Padalka on their way towards the International Space Station.
An amazing journey and historic space mission begins. An American astronaut and a Russian cosmonaut are on their way, well, deep into space, and they will spend the next year on the International Space Station. The mission will make American astronaut Scott Kelly the first astronaut to do so. The shuttle launched from Kazakhstan and will take a little less than 6 hours to travel 250 miles above Earth. The year-long journey and mission isn't just a walk in space, though. The two will be part of a major study on the human body. For more on what this mission will mean and what it means for us humans here on Earth, John Zarrella joins us now live from Orlando with much more. And I mean, it's really just amazing.
Yeah, it really is, Phil. You know, you think about it, this is historic, this mission. Usually International Space Station missions last 4 to 6 months. Well, Scott Kelly and Mikhail Kornienko are going to spend more than 340 days on the International Space Station. And this mission has been 2 years in the planning, 2 years in the preparation and the training. And so the whole idea here is to better understand how the human body adapts and reacts to a long-duration space flight in zero gravity. So you say, all right, what's the point? Well, the point is, if ultimately you're going to go to Mars, that kind of a mission will be at least 500 days, getting there, spending time on Mars, and coming back. So even if you overcome all the physical, technological hurdles, if you do not understand whether the human body can take such a trip, you're not going to Mars. So this is really the first of the building blocks towards that ultimate goal, sending humans to Mars.
I feel like I'm just a little kid learning about this whole space flight thing, and it truly is extraordinary. Now, we know quite a bit actually about how the human body works. I mean, that's kind of what the International Space Station is for, right? So give us a little color on what we do know about the human body and what we're hoping to learn.
That's exactly right. And what we know now is that you get bone loss, you get muscle atrophy, and that, of course, is because you're in zero gravity. There's no resistance for your muscles to work. So they actually have treadmills on the International Space Station, and the astronauts, cosmonauts all have to work out to kind of keep their bodies in shape. But they've also found that there is an eye issue. There's some temporary blindness that NASA discovered in astronauts coming back from even from short shuttle missions and from the International Space Station missions. So that temporary blindness is not a good thing. It's pressure behind the eye, and they need to understand that and what's causing that. More importantly, they have to understand whether the body is going to deteriorate even more if you're spending a longer amount of time in space than 6, 8, 10 months.
Scott Kelly has quite the famous twin brother, so this is a family affair as well. I know you're following this human story. Share with us a little bit about this.
Yeah, Mark Kelly, a retired U.S. astronaut as well. Now, he's going to be, you know, sort of on the ground, and he will be doing the same kind of things that his brother does in space. In other words, they're going to be sampling blood from Scott Kelly in space. They're going to be giving Scott Kelly psychological and physiological tests. Well, his brother Mark back on Earth is going to be the baseline. He's going to be getting those same tests at the same time. This way, they'll be able to measure, you know, how Scott's body is changing in space relative to how his brother's body is maintaining back here on Earth. Obviously, first of its kind study, never before done. Hopefully, NASA believes this could be some groundbreaking research.
So basically, we need a twin brother to do some of the hard testing for us. The timeline to Mars, the 500 days you're talking about, that is significant. And I have to imagine there is a concern, not just for this particular mission, but for a future one that long. There's a danger to the human body as well, right?
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. If you just talk about one of the things they haven't even figured out is, what about exposure to radiation? There's all kinds of radiation coming at you as you're flying through space. And unless you can have the proper shielding around your vehicle, you're going to be getting a lot of radiation in your body. How will that, what would that cause? Would it cause cancer? How quickly would someone succumb to cancer from that kind of exposure? So those are things that they definitely have to deal with. And, as we talk about this, we're still talking about 20 years down the road before humans are going to Mars, and that may be, kind of that may not even be the case. It could be longer than that.
But it could still be in our lifetime. John, thank you so much. I know you'll be following the story for us.
Certainly.
Just certainly amazing what humans have accomplished in our generation.